All right, good morning, everyone. Welcome to the tax committee. The date's October 3rd and the time is 9:35 a.m. And roll call, please.
Awful, yep, Geiger,
Yes.
Hughes,
Yes.
Whitlow,
Yes.
Duca,
Yes. Everybody's had a chance to look at the agenda. Can I get a motion to approve? Steve and Barb, first and second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Can I have anybody for the complaint? Oh, the claims? Complain a little bit. Can I get a motion for claims? Can I get a second? Can I have a roll call, please?
Awful, yep, Geiger,
Yes.
Hughes,
Yes.
Whitlow,
Yes.
Duca,
Yes. Now we can complain. It's public comment time.
Yeah.
There's no public comment. We'll move on from there to reports from the departments. And we'll start with our county clerk.
I had 2 new hires start yesterday. They stayed all day and came back this morning, so that is a little more positive than last month. We are busy filing budgets and levies. They're starting to come in steadily, which it will pick up even more so in November, December. I do want to let you guys know, you have a couple of resolutions that you're gonna be approving. Regarding the sale of properties that were acquired through the delinquent tax process. There was a unanimous Supreme Court ruling that will change a lot of the way these surplus properties are handled as far as monies gained by the county. Kurt might know a little bit more about like what we have to do with any excess money. But we can't collect more money on a sale than what the property owner owed in taxes and interest. So, there are going to be, some different rules that we're going to have to follow. There was a public act that was passed regarding trustee certificates, like the, amount of redemption and the percentage of interest. I believe that it is right now, what happens is when a tax sale is held, like when Kurt sells the current year's taxes, the trustee gets the certificate on any of the parcels that don't sell to an actual tax buyer, and they get that at 12% interest, I think, isn't it right now? Isn't that the highest it goes, Kurt? 9? 9?
And then the following year is 12.
Oh,
So it was
When did
18, it was 18, last year was first year it went to 9.
okay. Is that the highest a tax buyer can bid? 9?
And then it goes to 12.
Okay, for some reason I thought it was down to 12 and then 12.
It's right.
Okay, so, it's at 9% interest, and that changed last year. Anyway, what's happening now is for trustee parcels that are sold after January 1st, 2024, the interest that is gained on, trustee parcels will be 0.75% monthly rather than every 6 months. So it's just a different way of adding the interest, and so that will affect my office as far as getting those certificates changed to the 0.75, and it's a definite thing that they will program to increase the interest 0.75 every month rather than every 6 months. So anyway, I just wanted to make you guys aware that on these resolutions, there could potentially be a time where Kurt has to save money that could be called equitable income that he may have to return to the tax buyer, or to the taxpayer, should the county profit off of any of these sales. That's all I have.
All right. Well, up next will be our treasurer.
Well, we've gotten through our second installment collection. Next week, we're gonna do our second distribution. We're working on delinquent notices that need to be mailed out before our tax sale will be Monday the 30th. We'll sell, like we were saying, we'll sell the taxes that people haven't paid, so that way the taxing bodies can get their monies that they levied. But other than that, everything seems to be going fairly smooth right now, so. Considering I have 2 new people in my office that have never been through this before, so.
Questions to either one so far? Okay, too easy. We'll move on to assessments.
I have been spending the last couple weeks kind of looking into the special meeting that we had last week, that everybody was invited to. I also just want to make it clear that an email was sent out to all the township assessors to show up, and I had about half of them show up. With that being said, I kind of did some proposals on both of those systems, which are my preferred systems based on talking to other supervisor of assessments from other counties. The emails are kind of rolling in. I sent an email out yesterday, just kind of getting their feedback from why they like Vanguard as a CAMA system versus DevNets. The first proposal is Eagle View that we can look at, that just kind of, I tried to break it down. There's not many hidden costs in theirs. The change finder from the 2014 data, the cost is there, 2 flights over 6 years, and the total cost of that would be $410,628. There is some money in the GIS fundability fund. I would have to work with Jill to see exactly what doesn't get used every year to what the excess is that was getting put in there for a potential flyover. I'm thinking 50,000 might be in there. And with that, I attached both of the proposals. One is the 6-year proposal. The other one would be a 3-year proposal with just one flyover that includes the change finder. And then I tweaked the map a little bit. That's the 4th page in there. The green highlighted, or I don't know what color it shows up on your black and white copy, but all the boxes would be where that 3-inch would be. Everywhere else would be the 6-inch. So that is the GIS. With that, my hope would be to implement something similar to Livingston County, where there's very limited GIS information available to the public without paying for it. If they wanted the full detailed information, then they would pay. Livingston charges $150 a year for that. Or you could have a one-time fee or a monthly fee, to help build up more of a fund to potentially do this down the road in 10 years if we saw the need to do that. So that is for the GIS flyover project with Eagle View. The second proposal I have is Vanguard. And there's an attachment to the Eagle View on the last page. I'm sorry, it's for area-wide. That actually should have went with the Vanguard. So Vanguard's costs are, as they spoke of, the parcel create, which is them taking all of our information from DevNet and creating parcels for us, a license fee, a service fee, the server hardware I just got this morning from area-wide. That could have to be tweaked a little bit. That was me pulling the specifications off of Vanguard's website and sending them over to area-wide. So then that's their fee for a total cost of $102,318. The area-wide would have an annual cost for backup of approximately $300. So most of area-wide's cost is up front. There is a slight fee to maintain the backup on that annually. My goal with that would be the township assessors that were here. My hopes is that they'd be willing to purchase their own modules for the Vanguard system at the township cost. But me sharing the county sharing that GIS flyover information with them for them to input their township. So my hope is with the township assessors that are out there that I think would input the data, some townships we wouldn't have to in the office input all the data. Some of those assessors would share their input, and then we would start with some of the some of the townships that either don't have assessors currently, or maybe aren't technically, equipped to be able to put it in. My hope is in maybe a year or two time, we could have all the records digitized, have sketches drawn, and that's where we would be, so.
Which one did you say you prefer?
The ones that came last week, not to be confusing, were two totally separate things. So I would want both of them. Eagle View is the flyover, which is our GIS. Vanguard is a camera system. The comparative to Vanguard would be when DevNet came, but that was prior to me being here, so I wasn't part of that discussion. So I can't really speak on DevNet and what they can and can't do. I do realize that the cost is less with DevNet because they run our tax inquiry system, so they wouldn't charge us for the parcel create because they already have that information. But I was given like 6 different assessors last night to contact. Only one contacted me back this morning. And I'll just read your email just briefly a little bit. She said she worked for Coles County. She had the DevNet camera. She said it was horrible. We had all kinds of issues with very little customer service. I went 9 months without being able to price out commercial properties because of an error. I switched to Vanguard camera, best move ever. Very friendly. It supplies us with the sales ratio studies that we need. She actually just moved to Madison County as the SA from Kohl's, and part of her stipulation of moving is that they switched to Vanguard. So that's how much she believes in that program. I've got about 6 other people I emailed. She was the only one that got back to me before the meeting this morning, so.
Oh, that's good to know that.
The project description for Vanguard, $102,000. Is that a 5-year total commitment, or
Yes. So
the
as
license
you,
fee is only a one-time fee?
correct. So I tried to make it as simplified as I could on there without.
You divide that, you can't divide it by 5 though, because there's a more upfront cost probably then, correct?
Right, I mean, we could, and we could break it down.
Well, we need to
So
absorb this as how we're gonna pay for it, and
Sure.
how's it thrown out. So that's what I'm just trying to,
So one question I have, Jill brought to my attention, do we need to get a formal bid process for this, correct, Jill?
So over 30,000.
So anything over 30,000, even for this, we have to have a bid process.
so we need to write up the specs for the bid.
Right, but that's basically what
Because I
we
thought,
have been doing.
Kurt just left this, but is our DevNet stuff, if anybody knows, is that kept on property or is that some of it up in the cloud? I thought when they talked to us, it was cloud-based.
I feel like it is,
And
but
that's the way to go because you don't have the maintenance and the cost and the hoops if
I
the,
mean, you can answer that, right?
And it should be copied.
So-
I'm pretty sure it is. but I
So
don't know.
we're gonna have definitely a lot of, yeah, things.
Which is why I reached out to area wide, and again, it's attached to the wrong
Oh, I understand.
packet.
But there's a disadvantage of having a on-site server with all of your information. You have initial upfront costs, you have backup costs, you have all this other stuff that isn't, accessible, you know, it's limited by communication. Hey Kurt, you know, is DevNet backup, or excuse me, not backup, but is our DevNet information stored on-site or is it up in the cloud?
It should be on the cloud, but I'm pretty sure it's backed up on either the backup server or
Right,
the
I don't doubt it's
disaster
backed up,
recovery.
right.
But it should be, yes, but I don't know what specific server it's on.
Well, I'm looking at, I have a copy of what DevNet proposed here, and there are hardware requirements. Page 6 of the proposal when they came lists SPI. I mean, this is kind of what made me think that.
We already have it though, I think. Those aren't additional, from my recollection. when he was asked point blank prior to his presentation if there was any hardware needs in addition to what we had, and I thought he said that we already had those available, but maybe I'm wrong, maybe we should revisit it after we bid,
Yeah, no, I know what to do with it, yeah.
of course.
Yeah. We want to move on this, get it started immediately, because we don't want to slow down. For everything.
And the two are separate things. I mean, the Eagle View, I mean, we probably have to get a bid on that too because of the cost, but the key to getting the Eagle View GIS, I'm not sure what other companies are out there. There obviously are other companies that provide a different type of flyover service that aren't gonna capture the high resolution detail that Eagle View is gonna get. But we have to get on their books if we want a spring 24 flyover done. And I did talk to the Ford County SA, her and I, last week, and we tried to find a way, because she's looking to do it too, that if you fly Ford and fly us at the same time, will you give us a discount? No, you won't. So I was trying to look at a different angle of that. But I guess the urgency for Eagle View is to get on their books for spring of 24. Otherwise, we're gonna wait till fall, which is not, not as optimal as your spring, or wait till spring of 25 to get a flyover. And I wouldn't be opposed to the DevNet other than everything I'm hearing from essays that are using it, that it's just a glorified database. It will hold all your information. It is not going to value correctly the way Vanguard is. I think DevNet probably developed theirs thinking it would work hand in hand with their tax inquiry system, but they just don't have the assessment part of it down properly.
We know how much money difference there would actually be approximately.
Again, I wasn't here for the DevNet, so the proposal that they gave, well, the number I have is from back in April, so that's what I have here in my book, was 51,000, because they don't have to do the parcel create, they already have all the data in the DevNet tax inquiry system. And then probably the license fee, because we already use DevNet for something else, so that isn't there. The annual costs are very similar once it's set up, but there is more of an upfront cost with the Vanguard.
All right, I apologize, I jumped the gun, we'll have to get a bit of process set up immediately to get it taken care of. That's my fault, I apologize. I don't think that's on me. What do you need to get set up to do the process for this one? So on, process and that, and go. And just put it out for bid, see what happens. They're hearing that, man, just write the bid what you need requested.
Okay. And I'm gonna guess Jim will do a bid for his property card, and DevNet will, so I mean, we'll have 2 other bids from there.
Really, you can, you can eliminate what he's offering to do, because as I understand it, it's more, going out basically.
We're not comparing apples to apples,
No, we're
but
not
it
at
could be a
all.
bid. I mean, he could still, he developed a program and,
Yeah, so the specs are gonna be totally different, so I don't know how you're gonna really do that. To me, the flyover is somebody like Eagle View or a competitor,
Oh, yeah.
and then the other people are doing I thought they're providing valuation, aren't they?
Right, right.
Both companies are providing valuation. I think Vanguard uses their own, and DevNet uses Springfield or some other.
right, the outdoor
So I mean, I don't
calculations.
know how Jim's coming in to actually be boots on the ground, what he is, versus what you're asking for is.
But he'd still be digitizing the records, which is a little bit what CAMA
You can't
is.
do it without this other stuff. He
You
can't
couldn't do anything without the flyover. Well,
And the camera, he can't do it without the camera then either, and talking to him previously. You know what I mean? He's replaces the assessors, is what I think.
he just had mentioned me at one point that he would want to bid on it. That was prior to him sitting in on that special meeting. That might have enlightened him and realized
Right.
that the technology that they've developed is light years beyond where he's at with his property.
I haven't heard anything happen.
As long as we can understand them.
Right, and the other benefit, I forgot to mention this, was, for the flyover, is the benefits to public safety specifically, having a date on a picture and allowing them to see different views for, if something were to happen in a building, the police could go in and see where all the windows are, they know as of this date, this is what the building looks like. The fire department could use the height tool to measure the height of a building if they needed it. I was just trying to think of outside the box, how other departments might find the flyover beneficial.
Yeah, I like the idea of the flyover.
Wait, that would think, I did too.
They have to have connection to that server. That's another day.
Okay. All right, so we need to get a bid together for you to get this done ASAP on this. So you can get done, have it starting in 2024, get the flyover, and get moving on this.
How the bid process, does it get posted on our website and for how long?
If you want to open it next month, I mean, I guess it depends on how long we want to post it for.
I'll try to have it something done by the end of the week to get it posted ASAP.
That's not realistic, honestly, because you need to have competitive bids. And I don't know if anybody equal to Eagle View is gonna look at our website. So I think we probably just wanna contact the targets like you did. And that way.
So I need to go request bids from other, I wasn't sure if it just had to get posted that we want bids in a paper, or, that's what I'm trying to understand the
Right, I'll
process.
have it, it'll be posted on our website, but I need to know, when it's posted, I need to know like a deadline, when do you want them to have their bids in?
And then we can target those people that you
Yeah.
find, like you just did with DevNet and
Right.
Vanguard. So we can.
And there's other people doing flyovers, there's nobody doing what Eagle View's doing, but
Yeah, who
we'll
knows?
find
Who knows?
find what's out there. And for both, because of the cost, I need bids for both, and I need another bid for, and how many do we need? So we've got a bid from Cama,
You put it,
So you don't have a,
two other bids
I don't know if
besides
you really
mine.
have a bid from CAMA, honestly. And CAMA isn't, that's another entity. You have something from DevNet from several months ago that probably needs to be redone. CAM, I believe, is a system that's out of Denver, Colorado, from memory. And
Cama stands for Computer Assisted Mass Appraisal.
that's who DevNet uses, and several people use that Denver, Colorado company to, I don't know, digital pictures and all to what they do. But I don't think you have to get a bid on CAMA, just as what you want done. The Vanguard's doing it, and then that's kind of maybe can do, maybe not. You're probably on the right track talking to other assessors in different counties, because when DevNet was here, man, they had a lot of the counties, they said, in Illinois. From their-
They named counties, but what I have found is there's townships within that county that uses DevNet. The county as a whole is not using it. So and different counties do things differently. So Eric, for example, in Kankakee, he doesn't value anything. His township assessors value and do everything. Bring him in the numbers, he puts them in, and he's done with it.
Sure.
If somebody calls for property characteristics, he's sending them to the township assessors. The opposite is happening in Iroquois. We're the ones pulling all the cards, giving the information. There's a couple assessors that can value, most are not, I'm having to do it. So it's just kind of a difference. So I mean, the benefit of having countywide, having Vanguard is everything's being assessed the same. Numbers, you know, aren't being tweaked for one town or one township and not for another and vice versa, so.
So when you do the bid, make sure that they know they're sealed bids and the return to the county clerk's office.
Look it over when she gets it prepared.
I'll send it to you guys if that's fine, once I get.
But when it's all said and done, you're gonna know exactly what you need. We're not gonna be.
Okay, that's fine.
Proves to it for common sense. One other thing too, of course, maybe some of these other counties you're communicating to recently did this process and have a bid spec or bid that you can copy and
Yeah, that's a good point.
recent one. Same with the Eagle View, counties. Because all of them have a lot of bidding.
Jill, is there anything else from you that you can think of?
No.
Okay, I just wanna make sure that she has this process done correctly.
She doesn't have to do it for 30 days even, does she?
No.
The board won't be able to act on it. I mean, as far
Not
as.
this week, no.
Right,
Next week. Not next week.
I just mean
so you
start
wouldn't be
reaching
able-
out to them.
Yeah.
Get it quickly.
Yeah, so you
So
have
present
them
it
by
for
the
next
next
month.
Yeah, by the next tax meeting and
And then
that's when you open the
Right,
bids.
that's what I mean,
Yeah.
it's just getting that part.
Mhm.
So that way it'll be done.
Right.
And move forward.
What I'm thinking is if you can target people to give you bids, even though it's put out for bid, let's not say 30-day bid opportunity. Let's, if you find the people first and get them to commit that they can give you a bid by 2 weeks, then we can put the bid out and say it's 2 or 3 weeks or whatever it is. And we can keep this rolling then, perhaps, if that's.
We
Right,
have
that's
to,
why, I mean, by the end of the week, I meant me having it detailed to get to them to get proper bids.
In the meantime, if you locate these people you wanna target, like you know Eagle Eye, and you know probably DevNet, because they can give you a bid, probably, Vanguard. So I mean, you're a long way towards getting this thing.
So I need 2 total bids, or 2 on top of what I have.
If
Just try to
there
get
is
a
a
second.
requirement, it's whoever wants to bid on it.
Okay.
Like, if you put that out, it's open for anyone to bid, so you might just get one.
Right, it's to my advantage to reach out so that I'm at least getting one, so nobody can say they didn't have the opportunity.
But if you have it posted, it doesn't matter, because you have it posted,
right.
it's,
Yeah, we should.
it's their responsibility to look if they wanna give you a bid.
So the ones that already had, give us this bid, we still have to have them reach back out to us and do the bid the exact same way I just said, where it's a sealed bid and return to the county clerk's
Okay.
office. Doug is expressing, like him, I just spoke up here really quickly, is, he agrees that if we can do this in the next couple of weeks, even though it's after the board meeting, then that way, this always meets after ARPA. It would be done in a special meeting before ARPA, then we can go to ARPA and get the funds for you, and then the tax committee would be right there. That's nothing, yeah, can we open up the bids?
So you're talking scheduling a special county board meeting,
No,
okay?
only a special,
But tax can't approve it. I mean, just remember that it takes full board approval to
but tax,
approve the bid.
Tax and.
tax has to approve it before it can go to ARPA.
Right, you have to
And
look
then
at
it has
it,
to
but
go
it
to
won't
full
be
county
approved
board.
until full county board passes it, just
Right.
making sure.
Yeah, it's just, yeah, no, I agree, I appreciate it, and thank you so much.
We're hoping we can get it approved at the county board meeting
In November.
November.
Right,
And if we know ahead of time, we can't promise Eagle View anything, but we could give them a tip that.
Get us on your books.
right.
I just don't wanna lose the opportunity to get a spring 24 flyover.
Alright,
Appreciate it, yep.
And the second part is for the Vanguard, and this is a little bit different, but I am interviewing the Wex employee tomorrow. I've been told that through Workforce Investment Acts, Ashley spoke about it at the last board meeting. If that works out, she said he does well with computers. My hope is he can start sketching for me. So, and they're paying him, so I'll be able to utilize him if this program's in place to start sketching from our file, at least, what we have. I'll know more tomorrow once I interview him, if I think he's up to that task.
With the $13,000 that's on there, they're on their bid, and they were gonna do that in Iowa or wherever. That's not
Something,
sketching, that's just filling in the basic information.
that is the basic information that's in DevNet, like parcel number,
Good enough,
legal description, no property characteristics or sketches.
thank you.
I was looking at something, just thinking, sorry, we're getting, it's under, see what I'm saying?
Yeah, well, the first flyover though is this area.
Right, no.
You know, yeah, we can't.
No, I'm.
Right, I'm totaling everything when some of those costs can be divided out, but because of ARPA funding,
Right.
I'm lumping it all together. But the
We're good.
flyover could get divided out, yeah, that is a good point, could get divided out.
You can tell her to.
Yeah, it's still over 30.
Well, you're not, we're not. You file, your number of feeling all right to worry about it. But you're gonna have to start budgeting as soon as we get this started, you can start budgeting now for after the 6 years.
Exactly, so we do know what that is.
Right. I don't think we can't sell it.
Exactly, do it. It's just-
All right, so you'll be able to take care of the bid process and get it started, we're all good there. So you don't, I'll see you have for that, I want to, that's anything else. And put the 8,000 on it. Just to make sure there's nothing else we're missing. We good then, man? For the time being, all right. All right, so we'll move on from there. So we're not gonna discuss and take action with the property tax.
Yes, we will, that's
Oh,
a separate
separate,
deal.
sorry, that's
We need to
different.
do that.
Yeah, that count, always, I got the two together. Right, so let's go next to Julie on planning and zoning.
For September, we collected 2,654. Doug, in reference to our conversation earlier, I realize what you're trying to say, on the building permits issued for the year. I don't have the solicitor license added down there that we have on file, the one, so I need to add that to the form, so that'll be, done. I just wanna call out that we are almost, $12,000 ahead this year from what we collected for fiscal '22, so just call that out. We had a total of 12 permits. Then in August, I had a conversation with Jim Devine regarding the grounds to revoke language that we needed to add to the conditional use and the variation permit. He approved that.
Refresh us, what now?
You have on copies over there, the application for the variation that goes before ZBA and conditional use. We needed to add any correct or incomplete information shall be grounds for revoking permits that have been issued. he approved that, so, I've added that and provided copies to Jill on that. The revision to remove the special use and change to conditional use, on wind and solar,
All right, hold on, Julie, she's trying to,
sorry.
to keep up with you, sorry.
You're going to know,
Okay, so,
where are we?
first thing she was talking about
Yeah,
was
that's that application.
where it's marked in yellow.
Mine is marked.
We'll go back here.
It's above the signature part, my apologies.
Yes, page 2, planning and zoning down the bottom half, about halfway through the paragraph. Go ahead, Julie.
Any incorrect or incomplete information shall be grounds to revoke any permits that have been issued. Any cost, loss of revenues associated with termination of permit is at owner's or applicant's responsibility, and your signature below constitute your agreement to these terms and conditions. I guess, there were a couple of other counties that had issues with that, so, we needed to add that language, just to release, any falsehood that may occur.
Okay, so come on. Okay. The next thing you said, you have Jim working on,
We had agreed that our language that, in the wind and solar that said special use needed to be revised to conditional use. I redid all of that with Brienne and sent that, to her. To Brienne, I'm
Right.
sorry.
No, it's just for him to sign it. We've already approved
oh,
it.
so you
We've
said
approved, we've approved, kind of
Yeah.
approved
Yeah,
that.
we're all
Yeah,
good
it's all
with
been
that.
approved. I just wanted to
So we're
let,
just
give you
waiting
an
for-
update that I had done that.
All right. So then we get over to our chairman,
That's
and
all.
will sign it sometime.
What?
The ordinances for the wind and solar.
They're already signed.
Oh, okay.
Good.
Yep.
Huh?
And
Can we get that sent out to us then, maybe?
okay,
Can I get it in a Word document?
okay.
Thank you.
You don't want it in PDF?
No, because it'll come to light later. Both of them then sent wind and solar, please.
Okay. And then, it was brought to my attention that, on the permanent fee list, under the wind tower building permanent fee is the last page of the, permanent fee that's on the website. That it states 5,000, but I believe that should be 10,000. Yeah, per megawatt. On the website currently, it says 5,000 per tower.
It just says 10,000 per tower.
Okay. But anyway, that needs to be,
Right, so we changed it from 5 to 10, which is on the right track, but
Right.
then we didn't put in,
yeah, it should be megawatt nameplate, it's on page 12, paragraph G, I noticed that this morning, so that's my error.
we're wondering about, should we just eliminate,
Probably should just eliminate it before we.
this is another place to try to manage, just, yeah, look at the ordinance, so.
Right. I'm in agreement with that.
If you want to do one.
I'd like to change the website, and we can revisit that another day. We need to stop this error, because that's wrong. But these building permits that are for about $1,000 range for a new home is just ridiculous in the construction, trying to determine, you know, probably some other counties have solved that issue in a different way besides having 3 pages of fees for
So you,
building a new home.
so you want us to look at revisiting the fee structure altogether?
Yeah, but we gotta correct the wrong Or delete the line, whatever you wanna do.
I prefer just to delete the line.
That's a good idea. Leave that in. That's hard.
Thank you, is there anything else?
That's it.
No, we're good, really. Thank you so much for everything.
You have a question though.
Yes.
Your building permits are up, which is great, but are also our inspections.
Yes,
Are up.
our inspections.
We need to revisit our budget figure that was thrown out for building inspection expenses. And maybe we can talk with Jill on that then, because we're winding down on our,
Okay.
Just an email, just to go.
Okay.
thank you. And did you have the cover pages for the,
Yeah, I just, those are the cover pages, yeah.
just
Just so you can see that the, provisions have been, dates have been added in there.
for the wind? All right.
And solar.
Okay.
No, I'm done.
Julie, thank you so much, man.
You're welcome.
The plan we have for her is just to do one line.
Yes.
We have to do anything else that we have this time.
We can, if we work together, we can clean up some things.
If I can help that, please let me know.
We probably need to include the solar ordinance in the list of ordinances and some of that stuff. Maybe. So, we'll work on it.
All right, thank you, Julie. All right, discussion and action of the Devon property tax renewal contract.
Okay, so everyone should have received the software contract for DevNet for another 5 years. The amount is increasing about $600 per quarter, which Jill is aware and has put that into the budget, correct? Yes. So we're just looking for approval of a 5-year contract to continue with DevNet for our tax cycle software. Me too.
We should, just in case. Okay, I'm on there, but it's not. So for discussion and action on the resolution for the parcel sold for the delinquent tax. No, wait a minute, I'm sorry. I'm ahead of myself. For the property tax renewal contract, what price are we talking that's gonna be, is that gonna go out for bid?
No, it's already a vendor existing deal with.
Because it's already a vendor. We have to put it out for bid then. Okay, thank you. Thank you for clarifying that. So you want a motion for a 5-year contract renewal?
That's what the contract is, yes.
Does anybody want to look at it?
You're satisfied with your product?
Absolutely.
That's the first one. Somebody want to make a-
I'll make a motion to accept the DevNet contract for the real estate tax.
Second.
Does that suffice what you need?
I think so, yeah.
I just want to make sure. moving correctly. Do we have any conversation on it?
Awful, yep, Geiger,
Yes.
Hughes,
Yes.
Whitlow,
Yes.
Hukat.
Yes. Motion passes. Thank you for explaining that. All right, now we can move on to my brain keeps telling me we're heading now. Discussion and action resolution for parcel tax.
Okay, so you guys have two parcels in front of you. One is from Onarga Township, excuse me, and it's being sold to the village of Onarga, for $797. It's a building that's along their main street, actually, I think it's 2 doors away from Vlad Barron's home and farm and home, or whatever the name of his store is. Anyway, it's in that, business district, but that is going to the village of Onarga. And then the other resolution is for the surrender of a tax sale certificate. So what happened is Mr. Marquez owns the property currently, and his taxes were sold. It was too late for him to pay the taxes, and he ended up paying the trustee the amount of $4,317.65, so he can retain his property. So it's just a resolution to surrender that tax sale certificate to Mr. Marquez, not really the sale of the property.
Motion. Separate it.
Do you want to separate or
You
just
can do it if you
on a
want.
motion, just like we
Approve
usually?
both of the resolutions.
Yeah. Is there any more discussion on it? You want any questions for it? It's just two properties. We got to pay taxes on time, and the other one's going straight to the village of Onarga.
I make a motion that we accept the resolutions provided by the clerk concerning the two properties, one in Onarga, and the other one is,
I believe it's in Asheville Township.
is where?
Asheville Township.
Asheville Township. That's what I was looking for.
Any discussion?
Awful, yep, Geiger,
Yes.
Hughes,
Yes.
Whitlow,
Yes.
Hukat.
Yes. Any discussion and action on what they're concerning the PDS that's already in use stories? You're on that.
Yeah, what's going on here, it's okay, is we have informally met with an organization that is interested in doing a solar farm in Iroquois County. And there's, they seem like decent people and want to do the process right, and that's why they kind of informally met with us. Julie was there and John was there and I was invited. And so, that's fine. Then we had another meeting with them, and then they slipped in the term that they wanted to put a battery storage site in this 380 acre parcel for the solar farm. The solar farm they're proposing is 50 megawatts, which would give us $500,000 as a permit fee. So it'd be good to have them here. I drew a little map up here to the best of my skills. And the issue that's coming up with this battery storage, these are like containers that we, semi-trailers, containers, Tesla makes some and other people make them, that are filled with probably lithium-based batteries. That some of the issues have to do with the energy stored in there, and if we get heat in there, then they'll just start to burn, and it's harder than heck to put them out. You need to put water on it to cool it, but if it runs away contaminants, you got that issue. Foam is another way to consider doing it, but nobody has any foam. They did have one fire up this way in Illinois, they ended up using light powdered concrete to blow in the unit, and it in fact smothered it. So we're good up until they slip that in, which brings us to the point of the battery is called BESS, Battery Energy Storage Solutions, is a new area of permitting. I've been lucky to talk with Indiana. They seem just like when the United States was discovered, everybody moved west. Well, Indiana's a little ahead of us on how they do things. So the county I talked to, their charge is $1,750 per megawatt, which is low anyway, for battery storage. As important or more important, we need to think about setbacks. Why? Because in this particular case, where they're putting the property, which is the blue, 380 acres blue, that's Interstate 57, and the property borders up to the right-of-way of 57. But more importantly, is that's the transmission line they want to hook into with the substation. That's railroad tracks, and that's Route 45. My concern is I remember Crescent City happened what happened there then, and nobody planned to have that accident several years ago. And we see in the news media about Ohio had the train derailment and everybody else. There is a crossroad here by the substation that dead ends out here at the interstate, but the farmer and everybody else still needs to have access across that railroad tracks. Now it is got guard gates, but you have Amtrak's flying up and down that, plus your freight trains coming up and down that. Also at the other end, not quite to Delray, but there's another railroad crossing at the other end. My point is there's exposure for derailments and those cars not going where they belong. So I think we should consider some sort of setback because we're by the railroad tracks. And I've researched a lot, and I haven't come up with who, what, how to do this. I did run across a National Fire Protection Association document 855 that I can't find a copy of unless we join that. I've asked Scott Anderson to see what he can do to find it, so that might help us with some setbacks. My point is, we need to come up with a separate ordinance on battery storage with fees like we've done for the wind and solar. I don't think we should accept any permitting because they want to just include this by chance in this, and I think we should charge for battery, and it should be a separate set of rules that you do by. That we should probably need to get done in the next 2 or 3 months if we can, but in the time being, we just need to make it public that we're not accepting any battery storage devices at this time.
What is this battery storage anyway? What are they needing the battery for?
What it's done
For the
is,
farm or for somewhere else?
okay, that's a long story, but the grid can only absorb so much energy at a certain time. So if they store the batteries when it's sunny out, they can then sell that energy to the grid when it's appropriate, profitable, appropriate, and it can, get in the line. Houston's got a great big storage facility down there, and they're saying, well, when we had the last hurricane, we were out of power, and therefore this thing's gonna help us. Well, if all the poles to the neighborhood stay up, then it'll help you, but if they get knocked down, you're still dormant. But in this case, this would be just a supplement. And we'll probably see more for wind because the grid can't store energy. It just transmits it. So by some of these wind towers, they might start doing that too. So
It's also a way of providing the energy or the electricity that's needed at a time, like for example, at nighttime when the sun isn't out, or in the case of wind, if the wind is blowing, there's some energy that's available. But Doug is right, we need to have a separate ordinance to cover this primarily because of the safety aspect.
I know,
most places, I think, by wind farms are like this can be dealt with without as much concern for safety. But just because it's along the Delavan Railroad track,
where is this property at?
it'd be north of Buckley,
North of Buckley.
south of Del Rey.
Is that by Gilman area?
Negative would be south of Gilman, south of Narga, south of Gilman. And it's in a rural area, so I mean, it brings some good to the table, but
How many acres is this?
this is 380 acres of proposal solar farm.
And how many batteries will be stored at a time? Do they have any idea?
Well, they said they said 10 megawatt. And to my research, the Tesla system is about a megawatt per trailer, but maybe they can pack stuff more in that, I don't know. But, we'll have to deal with that.
Setback can be real important.
Well, yeah, the problem is, they're gonna say is, if we set back away from the transmission line, anytime I try to send electricity through a cable, I lose efficiency.
Yeah.
So I'll have it's a loss. So if we say we wanna put, this solar out, or excuse me, this battery thing out here, they're gonna squawk saying, well, time we send it here and da-da-da. But, hey, I'm sorry.
Do all these solar farms have to have everything now?
No, it's just a new thing starting. They're starting to push it. They're seeing the benefits of this new line that we've heard about too, from Ameren is having meetings around the area talking about a new transmission line going from Indiana all the way over to Iowa. That line is over here about a mile. Right now it's a double pole line that you see for mostly going north and south. And there might be a chance they might want to hook up not only to this transmission line here, the green, they might want to take it across and hook it up to this non-Ameren owned, it's MESA owned, I guess, line that gives more ability to send their electricity other places and charge appropriately.
How much, what kind of dangers involved in that? I know you explained some of it, but like, battery smoke or whatever, filters throughout the air, I don't understand that.
I don't think there's that much
That kind of damage.
issues. Right.
Just a fire would be the biggest thing.
Yeah, that's where it goes
So
nuts.
land will be wasteland then, because obviously lithium will get into the ground. That's a big thing with the solar farms, is they leak after so long.
Like your car battery, hard to put out once the fire starts.
When I saw New York has ordinances for a community, and they let them put these battery packs with hardly any setback, even in residential or whatever areas that they are. So I haven't figured that out yet, but.
We see money over safety concerns of people's
Yeah,
lives.
of course. Always have.
And of course, I don't think they live here.
No.
Anything more?
Well, right now, the reason that we wanna have a moratorium enacted is that if we get an application, say, next week or, after the next board meeting, and they wanna put this in there, we don't have any way of saying that they can't. If we put a moratorium on it, that means they cannot do that until we release the moratorium, which we're not gonna do until we have an ordinance put together to cover it. And one thing I would add, to what Barbara was wondering, why they're doing this. One of the renewable energy programs that have been on the life that we live in for the last 20 years or so. There's always pros and cons, and one of the cons has been they can't produce electricity when the sun isn't shining or the wind isn't blowing. This is one of their answers to that, is by being able to store the electricity. They can produce more electricity than what the grid will handle at a given time. And they're able to store that, then they can sell it or put it on the grid at a time when they're not able to produce what the grid needs. So that's what's behind all this. And the only way that anybody so far has come up with by being able to store the electricity is through the use of batteries. That's what batteries do, they store the electricity. Batteries used for your flashlight, for your automobile, whatever, it's all part of the same principle. This is just on a huge scale, comparatively speaking.
I think, I feel about solar and wind energy, I'm not happy about this one.
Well, the battery storage, what it would do, if they could store the batteries, of course, then wouldn't need gas-fired generators to make electricity when the sun isn't shining.
Well, now we already have this started, so we do need to protect it. Protect us. So we do need to put a moratorium in.
At least a temporary hold, you're right.
Yeah, there has to be, yeah.
Then I make a motion that we put a moratorium on the BESS, battery energy storage systems, until we have time to adopt an ordinance covering that.
I'll second that.
And, is that for any of them that come in?
Yeah, I'm saying countywide, yeah, any type of battery.
Anybody want to talk about anything else?
Well, I got a lot of questions. Nobody agrees.
Anything about money, so, all in favor?
Aye.
No,
Motion passes. We'll move on to discussion and action on the FY 2023 levy.
I didn't put it on the agenda.
Neither. We'll put that on the agenda.
Alright, so the levy worksheets, I, like I normally do towards the end of September, beginning of October. I put them together based off of the budget requested amount and sent them over to, used to be Bob, now it's Mia. What I am currently waiting on in order to give the committee the worksheets is the assumed taxable EAV for a high, a mid, and a low level, which Mia has come to talk to me a little bit about. She was gonna do some more research to get some more solid numbers. And I'm also waiting on the fiscal year estimated to date distribution amounts, as the treasurer's office has not done a distribution as of today. I did talk to Kurt just now before he left. He gave me some projected first distribution numbers. Normally, I would have both distribution numbers in there for you guys to make a decision. So I did not email them out to the committee yet because they're useless to you at this point without having that estimated to date revenue numbers in for levy amounts and the assumed taxable EAV. So hopefully, Kurt's office can get those numbers in, and then you'll have time to do some more research and get those taxable EAV numbers to me. And then I will provide those worksheets for you for next month's discussion. You do have to approve the levy in December, so plenty of time for you to still review everything
Okay.
and make your approval.
That special meeting.
Yeah.
Would that be okay?
You don't need a special meeting.
Well, we're gonna, if we have one to help me out,
That's up to you guys.
then we could include it then.
Just more money that it costs to have special meetings, and that's all I worry about. But yeah, no, as far as the levy goes, yeah, you have until the December meeting to vote on that, so.
Further, old business?
I already made my statement about the board meeting, so I won't repeat it. I don't think there's anybody here that in here, if there is.
Okay, any new business?
Need to know about the board meeting next week being over at the old courthouse. I'm not here. If you come here, you're out of luck.
All right, can I get a motion?
Close. The adjourning.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes.
You like that chair?
Barbara's struggling too, there might be some bad, maybe Judy there.